Hi there, Spitfire here with Game Mode 5. Today I would like to show you how to edit the terrain in Godus, or Godus, depending on how you want to pronounce it. This is a slow and arduous task in the beginning, requiring you to move one layer at a time within certain constraints. It does come at the cost of faith, which is in the lower left-hand corner of your screen. Everything in this game does have a cost of either faith or there's also a cost in gems, which is in your upper right-hand corner. As you can see, when we move terrain out from under an object, the object does sink to the lowest level. Now, this does work with things such as totems. It works with other miscellaneous pre-generated buildings. It does, however, not work with the buildings that your civilization builds. Those will crumble, crack, and become unusable if you move the terrain out from around and under them. As you can see here, I've actually sped this video up just a bit to minimize the amount of grind, so to speak. As you can see here, what I'm doing is I'm actually trying to edit it so that the terrain is somewhat natural looking. There are many things that you can do. You can go for a very sharp cliff. You can try to get it to look natural. There are many things that you can do in order to get the look that you're after. As you can see here, when I had that small island, I actually could get rid of the entire island there just by shrinking its size down to the smallest little speck possible, just like you saw there as well. Now, later on in the game, we'll actually show that you can get an upgrade that allows you to move multiple layers at a time. Here we're going to demonstrate making your little islands disappear. This comes in handy at the tops of mountains and hills, things like that. Now, I was saying earlier about other reasons you might want to move terrain. Underneath the terrain, you actually have some upgrades, these little boxes that allow you to do things you wouldn't normally be able to do. And as you can see here, we're kind of uncovering them. These blue and white speckles depict that there is something under there. And you can see we just got a flint resource card. Now we're going to speed this up just a bit more. And you can see I am making progress, just extremely slowly. This is at about 800% or 8x speed. You can see that at this speed it almost looks like I'm moving Play-Doh or silly putty around. And that is, when you're moving single layers, that is pretty much the analogy that I always find myself coming back to. And there we go. Now, the fun comes in when you start getting upgrades. When you start getting upgrades, you're allowed to move multiple pieces of land all at the same time, or multiple layers, rather. Now, the thing is, you can't force that upgrade. You have to put in the time. You have to move your land around in order to get that. If you see here, we're actually trying to get that upgrade card, and we can actually put the terrain right back to the way that we found it. Or even better, we can cover up this entire area and make this usable land again. As you can see here, I just sent a large amount of my followers to that beacon that I just set out, or rather the totem. And all of a sudden, now I have a little society, a little town there. That's awesome. Now I have the upgrade and I can move multiple pieces of land all at the same time. Okay, slow that back down. And as you can see, now we are moving entire areas. The way that you do this after you get the upgrade is you click the lowest section that you want to move. Now, you can only move, I believe it's 3 or 4 at a time. And you can see this start to manifest itself as I'm moving some of this stuff around. Here, I'm going to attempt to move this cliffside back, which, while I'm at the bottom most levels, that works beautifully and as expected. There we go. Now, the clicking in this game is not fully as you would expect it to be. There are still some bugs as far as where you're able to click and how it interprets that. Alright, so we're going to push that back. And as you can see, we are just clicking on the bottommost layer and pushing. If you would like to move just a single area, you can just click on the area you'd like to move. Now, we said earlier about there being multiple reasons you might want to, there we go, you might want to move terrain around. And this is one of them. We have a chest here, and we're able to open it nicely. And it was a very quick job because we were able to move multiple layers at the same time. Alright, here we go. Now, one thing that you might notice is that these things called towns on my screen. If you don't have them yet, you should definitely think about trying to put those in your world. They do make things a lot easier to manage. Alright. As I said earlier, you can set this up pretty much how you would like it. Every world is unique, so do with it as you will. Alright, let's see here. We're going to go ahead and move this terrain. Now, as you can see, at first we were only moving one layer, but because we clicked on the bottommost layer, we started dragging other things as well. And we can move this back. And here we actually have a great example of what I was discussing earlier about how if you move the terrain underneath a pre-generated object, the object falls to the lowest area. This is great, and it does work for totems and other miscellaneous things like that. It does not work for trees. It does not work for houses, any civilization buildings. As you can see there in the middle of the screen, we had a tree, but I moved the dirt out from under it, and it was all of a sudden gone. Moving large amounts of land, like you see me doing here, also makes it a little bit more difficult for your population to climb that. So always keep that in mind, that these giant cliffs are cumbersome to your population. If you do not leave them a way to climb, they will be locked out, per se. Not only that, but occasionally you can sometimes hear your people say, "Wow," when they see you move land, which is just cool, and it's a nice little confidence booster. Alright, well, anyways, that's all I have to show you for now. Till next time, I'm Spitfire with Game Mode 5. Like, subscribe, comments please.